I'm Avon.
And I'm Sonia.
And today we're dishing with you from Cafe Milano, located at 3251 Prospect Street Northwest, one of the best places in the city to come for gourmet Italian food.
And our guest today is Mark Hayison, who is a co-founder of Men Against Breast Cancer, which is a phenomenal organization. And actually, I was about to tell you more about it, but I'd rather you do that since you know a lot better than I would.
Men Against Breast Cancer is the first national nonprofit whose mission is to educate and empower men to be effective caregivers when breast cancer strikes a female loved one. Essentially, we teach men how to be there for the women they love. What's more natural than being there for someone you love? That's why our ribbon that we talked about is pink and blue, that shows it's a partnership between men and women. So we educate men on how to be there for the women they love.
Now, I understand your purpose is to be there for the women you love, but is it not true that men can also have breast cancer?
1% of breast cancers are in men. However, with all the women out there who have been diagnosed and the men out there who are amazing caregivers and want to know the best way to be there, we've got a specific niche that we fill is to educate them so they know what to do emotionally and physically, because at the end of the day, everything we do is to try to improve the quality of survivorship of the patient. So we all know if I have a tough day at work and I can go home and talk to my wife about it, I'm going to deal with it better. So just think if you have a life-threatening disease such as breast cancer, how important it is, you have a committed partner who's going to be there with you every step of the way.
What's the biggest thing that you need to teach men? Because if their family is being affected by this, their loved one, their wife, their sister, their mother, they want to be caring and compassionate. So what is there really to teach them if they already want to be supportive?
Good question. And the answer that I have for that was kind of like with real estate. People always say location, location, location. She needs to know you love her, you love her, you love her. And after saying that, every situation and every family is different. So what would work for you may not work for my family. But the woman wants to feel connected to the man.
Right.
So whatever you need to do that's appropriate where you are in treatment, that's what each man needs to do. And we teach a problem-solving model that helps men cope so they can figure it out together as a couple.
Now, did you decide to create Men Against Breast Cancer because of a personal experience that you had in your life, or just because you knew this was a void that was not being filled?
I wish I could say I was that nice. My mom's a 17-year breast cancer survivor. So everything I do is in honor and love of my mom. I'm very fortunate and blessed to be sitting here and talking to you and saying I'm doing something in her honor and not her memory. And that my mom's still very active in what we do. When my mom was diagnosed, my dad, my brother, myself, both of our wives, 95% of the time we were all with her. She was never by herself. And I'm not saying that to pat ourselves on the back, but that's the way it should be. And that's the way we were brought up. When my mom was sick, she was always there for us. It was our turn to give back. So we're just helping men get over that hump to be there, because by and large, men are amazing caregivers when given the opportunity.
Because this is not just about partners. It can also be about siblings,
Yes.
other relatives, even good friends. Just being able to give, because it's a lot more than just the woman who's going through it. It's also the man who's in her life. Being able to cope and be able to say the right thing, or be able to understand what she may be going through. There's no way I could ever, or you, or anybody, any other man would be able to relate to what I'm going through.
That's a great point, because one of the worst things you can say to anybody, whether they have breast cancer or any cancer, unless you're a cancer survivor, you can't say to them, I understand, because you don't. But what you can say to them is, I love you and I'm going to be there with you. Tell me what you want me to do and I'm going to do it. And then from there, all things are possible, as long as she knows she's going to have that committed person there with her.
I want to talk more about what you're doing, but I want to ask you, you chose breast cancer, and I'm so glad you did, but breast cancer gets a lot of attention. As a man, how do you feel about how much attention breast cancer gets that prostate cancer does not? And do you feel like, as a man, you should be focusing on prostate cancer instead of breast cancer, or because of your particular situation, breast cancer is...
Two-part answer to that question.
Sure.
One, I'm not upset that where I am with what we're doing, because my passion is breast cancer. My mom had breast cancer, so my passion is to try to help as many men as I can be there for the women they love. The particular program that we teach, the workshop that we teach, is something that's applicable across the spectrum. And we've been approached by other groups, such as Prostate, to help take our model and transfer it into what they would find appropriate. But in terms of, do I think breast cancer is getting disproportionate amount of publicity compared to prostate cancer? I'll let other people judge that.
Okay.
But my love and my passion is breast cancer and helping men be there for the women they love. And I've met some great prostate cancer survivors and caregivers as well.
Can you tell us maybe your top tip about how to be more caring?
making sure you have open lines of communication. And it's so easy to sit here with the three of you and say, just make sure you have open lines of communication. It's
Not
so
always
much,
that easy.
No,
Right.
it's so much easier to say as opposed to do, especially when you have a life-threatening disease like breast cancer. So it makes it even more difficult, and why it's even more important that you take a time out, step back and say, okay, what do we need to do as a couple? Because it is a two-way street. We can't expect men to read their partner's mind and vice versa. So they have to be able to come together, and that's why our workshops are called Partners in Survival, because they have to work on it together. And it's a brainstorming, problem-solving model that we all do every day at work. Sometimes we take for granted when we get it home, and then when you have a life-threatening disease like breast cancer, it becomes even more difficult to
Now,
do.
how has your real life job worked into this life mission?
This has become, I have my own business as well, but I spend conservatively 60 hours a week on Men Against Breast Cancer. This does not feel like work to me. I kind of coined a term. It started out as something that was personal, became passionate, and now has a purpose. And I am so committed to doing whatever I can to help other people. And if we help one person, then we've done our job. And part of what we do and how we do it is we have an annual event that's coming up October 20th at the W. It's called the Think Pink and Blue Gala Dinner Awards. And we're actually having a fashion show that men are in. So it's very unique to the DC area.
So all the women will want to be there.
Yes, they were there last year. It was the first year where you had the men's fashion show. And having it at the W this year kind of takes it up a notch because it's new and it's fresh. And Saks provides all the clothes and takes care of all the production costs.
Awesome.
Are you going to be modeling?
Yeah, exactly. Don't put him on the spot.
yeah,
Have you been asked?
We're putting you on the spot.
Because we can be
sort of
the
He's got a
been
model.
asked.
Are you
I'm
gonna do it?
retired.
Come on.
We do have some male celebrity models that'll be in
Like
the show.
who?
Brian Mitchell's going to be in the show, and Doc Walker's going to be in the show. Ronnie Thompson from Comcast. Paul Wharton's going to be
Will
in the
any
show.
of them be shirtless?
Well, I tried to get them to wear Speedos, but they kind of nixed that.
Well,
And
that's
Chick
probably
Hernandez
why, you know, it takes a really strong man to do something like
pink
that.
Speedos.
Pink
Nice.
Speedos.
That's really showing support. I like it.
Well, it does take a strong man,
No
actually,
G-strings, though.
to be there for women that are going through this. And thank you for helping to provide them with that strength and for being so strong to do this yourself.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you for what you do.
so much. And as always, thank you for joining us here on this episode of The District Dish.